Welcome to the official Tennis.com podcast featuring professional coach and community leader, Kamau Murray.
Welcome to the Tennis.com podcast. I am your host, Kamau Murray, and we are here with Anna Konjuh.
That was close. Close enough. I'll give you that.
So I still get Christmas cards from family members who put an L on my name. So that's why I finally have somebody whose name I can screw up as bad as my blood relatives screw up my name.
Go ahead. I'm all for it.
I mean, but when you were a kid, it was Anna Konjuh, Anna Konjuh. I was like, nobody can say this girl's name right.
I've heard it all.
Yeah.
I was cognac once. I was
Cognac?
Yeah. I'm still underage. Cannot drink though.
Yeah. So, speaking of underage, you won the Junior Australian Open, Junior US Open, WTA title 18 months later. You're parents should write a book because everybody's parent tries to make a tennis player as good as they can, as fast as they can. How did your parents make all of that happen? Were they tennis players themselves?
No, my dad was actually a football player before.
American football or European football?
It's football in Europe.
Okay,
soccer
soccer
for you guys,
okay,
but we should rewrite that anyways. So he played football before, and my mom was just in school basically, and my dad just one day fell in love with tennis, and I had the older sister that played before, so he kind of got into it with her, and then I was on practices, just collecting balls and being a ball kid for her, and then they gave me a racket one day. I think I was 4 or something. And they actually saw that I have a talent, a sense with the ball or whatever. They're like, let's get some balls. And suddenly, I started practicing with her coaches, and they saw I was getting really good, and they moved me with the grooves. But then again, that also was really fast. I kind of overgrew that. And then I was at 7, having my own coach, my own team as well, moving to another city when 11, and so yeah, the rest is history.
A team at 7? You mean babysitter, somebody to change your diapers, a tennis coach, a mental coach, somebody to teach you how to write?
Something like that.
A whole team.
Yeah. I mean, my sister was really trying to get into juniors, so I was with her, and just moving to Zagreb at 10, 11. My parents stayed back in Dubrovnik, so basically, grew up with my sister and started playing, and then she retired when she was 18, and I guess the pressure was on me now, and it turned out pretty well though.
Yeah, you handled it. So you had the best of both worlds, because a lot of people get good when they have older siblings who are the guinea pig. Oh, let's try this, let's try that.
But I feel everybody who has older siblings, the younger one is always better.
Always.
Yeah, because the mistakes that you made will be the first one, so let's get it better this one.
And then it sounds like you were 4 years old, because I was this girl must have been playing tennis as soon as she could walk, because for her to get this good, this fast, and it's one thing to be good and not have results.
Yeah.
But it's one thing to be good and actually produce on the court. So your sister was a guinea pig. They got it right with you.
I hope she won't see this.
That's all right, because now you can buy her a Birkin bag or something. Because now you can take care of her. And then you were 4 years old, and you were at the back of the court, picking up balls, stealing all the attention.
Yeah, but that was Anna, move from the court, you're in her way. And I'm who's in whose way right now?
Right. So you win your first WTA title. You're on your road. What was that like? Because I see a lot of players struggle, they get 260, they get 230, they finally get top 200, then they're 150, they're staying in hotels. But you were Junior US Open champion, won a title, and then you're staying in the best hotels, and life was good right away. So what was that like, being so young, and then being LeBron?
I mean, just looking back on it right now, I don't think that I gave it much thought, honestly. Just it was all I knew at that time. I didn't know anything better, and I was pretty good, pretty fast. And I think just going back, I don't know if that was the right way to go, because of all the injuries that hit me a little bit later on. So I'm not sure if I should recommend it or not, but obviously I wouldn't change my career for the world, and that was my way. Sometimes, I wish that, I've done some things better or not, but it was all, everything that I did at that time was for my own good. And yeah, winning that title really changed things for me. I don't know if 2015 was it or not. I keep forgetting. But it was on grass, so I really love grass, and that was a big stepping stone as well. And playing Fed Cup right after juniors, Eva putting me in, just having that experience behind me and getting on tour. I moved up, the ranking's pretty good, pretty fast. I was top 20 with 18, 19 or whatever. But and then injuries hit, and I kind of had to go all the way back and go through all that again. Like go back to the shitty hotels, play 25Ks. So I think feeling right now, I appreciate it much more. And even though I feel a bit more pressure right now, and because I know what it's like going back, and I don't ever want to do that. I want to stay where I am, and I get better. So I think that's putting a little bit more on myself than before. I was young, I was good at tennis, I was doing what I like, what I love, and just enjoying day by day. If you wouldn't lose, I wouldn't care. I would still have a good 3 weeks per year, and I would be top 50. So.
Right. See, you just let out the tour secret. Win one tournament a year,
I'm telling you.
semis of 2 others, and that's a good year.
Yeah, and that's it. Perhaps maybe they did a slam, that would be awesome. But yeah, grass season was always good for me.
So you talk about maybe some of the injuries. So you moved away from home at 10 or 7?
10.
At 10. So
yeah.
You moved away from home at 10. You and your sister and left your parents behind. So that gives you the chance to kind of grow up. Because when I look at the results, I was like, okay, she was mature at 15 to be able to handle it. Because there was no stories about you going wild and crazy and partying and doing all this kind of thing. I was like, this girl was mature to be able to actually win a title, which is hard to do, but then kind of keep her composure. So tell me about that, to be so young and then leave home and commit to tennis. What was your life like? Were you homeschooled? Was there any school at all?
Well, actually going to school, but now how many days was I actually at school? That's a good question for my teachers. But they really, they went out of their way just to help me. I would be on tournaments, for a few weeks, then come back. My mom would do my homework, rewrite from my other friends. And then I would just bring books with me. I was in the airplane, or massage, and they would be talking, and I would be just lying down and listening to it, because that was the way I was, the best learner. And just, giving me really, big chapters of school at once. And I think that was the way for me to finish at least the, primary school,
yeah,
how you call it, elementary school. And then the high school, I kind of went a little bit more serious, as you said, in tennis. And I was like, well, I probably would go for my career rather than school. So I just kind of took it in stride and just gave my exams a couple of months. When you just learn on the road and you come back, you give your exam and that's it. So it was hard at that time, just not having my parents with me, my other sisters as well, and just being on the road a lot. My team was basically my family because I would see them a lot more. But then again, as I said, I don't think that I missed much because I think tennis gave me a lot more than what my friends had back home. So, and I would never change it.
So your sister was kind of watching after you. Now, could she cook? Was it how did that, were you in a dorm or were you all your own apartment? You had to make your way back and from tennis?
Well, we had our own apartment, so she started cooking as well, then teach me and taught me, doing the laundry and all that stuff. My parents would come maybe, once per week or something just to cook and then freeze that stuff and you just put it in the microwave and you have for pasta or whatever. But it's been fun. It's been, I think, hell for them as well because they wouldn't see each other a lot because of us. But we made it through, I'm here. I think it was all worth it, and I cannot wait to pay them back.
So tell me about when the injuries hit, right? Because you kind of rise so, fast, and then you're sort of making all this momentum, and you're now I got to start over again. Tell me what types of injuries they were and the different surgeries and what made you stick with it. Because a lot of people can kind of I just think even just the past 2 years, a lot of people just retire, right? Like Gibbs and Christians, okay, right? So tell me about the injuries and then how you made it all the way back.
It was frustrating. I would say the best word is to describe it. I've been having elbow issues since I was 12. So as I said, I'm not sure if starting that young was a good choice.
Issues?
They don't know. Up until this day, I had 5 surgeries. I've seen 30 best doctors in the world for the elbow. They don't know what my issue is. So I've been just kind of dealing with consequences. So I'm not sure what's the cause of the whole problem. And I had my first surgery after junior career, so after I won an Australian Open, I think. I was kind of like, I should probably, before I moved to pros, like do something about it, because I was like taking painkillers every single day. And then had it, and I was good for 3.5 years. Everything I've done in my career, basically up to that, was before that. And then in 2017, after US Open, I kind of just woke up one day. I was in Toronto, and I could not extend my arm. My elbow was locked, like all of a sudden. And I did an MRI. They found some impingements, like basically bones that should not be there. So I had to like shave that down. And I was like, okay, let me play US Open, and I'm gonna do it, in the off season. And ever since then, honestly, I can't remember a day that I played without any kind of pain. So I had 4 surgeries since 2017, and the last one was just like last October. But the big one was in 2018. I had the ulnar ligament reconstruction. So they kind of basically took my ligament from my leg, put it inside the elbow. They also moved the ulnar nerve. And the comeback was, I think, like 19 months. So I lost all my points, all my rankings, and as I said, it started from zero. Tournaments, hotels. And especially like COVID hit at that time as well. So there were no tournaments. Everybody wanted to play. It was really, bad situation in the world. And I chose that time to come back. So just playing 25Ks was like WTA tournament at that time. So it was really hard. But I think the most frustrating thing is just coming back every single time after each surgery and hoping that it's going to be okay finally, and just, seeing that it's not, and not knowing how to help yourself. But
So COVID, in a way, gave you a little more time to heal, right? Or did it hurt you because people held their points for so long?
that too, up until this day, I have no idea how that system worked with the points. I was like, don't even tell me, like whatever I do, I'm going to give it my all and see what happens. So I have no idea, but in a way, sure, probably would have came back a little bit earlier if it wasn't for COVID. Like I would probably maybe push myself a bit more. So it was a good thing that I gave myself time to heal properly and to come back. But then again, as I said, the tournaments were so hard that it wasn't like before when I started first.
So a lot of people will take this situation and say, you know what, I actually made a good amount of money when I was a kid. And this is hard. It's a lot of stop and start. It's painful, like legitimately painful. Let me go do something else. You can go model. You can do a bunch of other things, right? So what kind of keeps you going? Because I can honestly say I've probably known 4 or 5 people in your situation who are now retired, and now they're like modeling and commentating and other things.
Because I feel like I wouldn't be good at other stuff. Like, I found my thing for life.
You would be good at the commentating. Like, before the camera started rolling, all the stuff you were talking, 100%. You'd be like a comedian.
Like, that is one thing I never want to do. Like, I'm really not good at it. That's what I think. Especially, like, talking with my coach after matches and stuff. And I'm kind of a player who's, like, playing on, like, what I feel, like not what I actually know about tennis. So it will be like just judging others doing stuff on the court. I do a lot of bad things as well, so it wouldn't be good. But I'm really like, maybe I'll be open to it in the future. You never know. But as I said, I wanted to do everything in my power to be back on the court, doing what I love. And as you said, I was really young when I first started, and I think my career still has time for all the comebacks I want. And when I stopped playing tennis, everybody maybe has a plan B or something, and I never really gave it much thought because it was never an option for me. But, so maybe I'll start thinking about it now.
So the reason why I say modeling, because one of the secrets, you may not know this, people on tour admire your fashion.
My fashion?
Yeah, when you come to the player party, you're like, oh, that girl got some style for a Croatian girl. They're like, oh, she got some style. I'm like, for tennis, tennis players, we're not like the most swaggy type. Some of the outfits, look a little crazy. Everybody got little Bethany Maddox Sands in her, little Danielle Collins in her. But yours kind of I've heard other girls like, wow, she has style.
Okay, well, thanks for telling me that. You never know. As I said, I think the road is open after whatever when I finish my career. So. Might be in fashion, might be commentating with you, might be doing this podcast in the future, you never know.
We'll have our own comedy show, because before this it was
I love comedy shows.
Well, we like that forehand better. So for now, But for now, I mean, look, we're happy to have you back on tour. I think the tour is like a close-knit family, and when someone's injured and someone's missing, everyone takes notice, so you were definitely missed. And we wish you luck, and we can't wait to see you slap that forehand. That forehand, that backhand, you lean into it. So welcome back to the tour, and we wish you all the health and all the best.
Thank you very much, guys.
This has been the Tennis.com podcast with Anna Konjuh.
You're getting better, okay. A couple more tries and we'll have it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.